dear friends, my lovely audiences, welcome to the East West Show. Jack Chow's my name. G&E the show with East West is a show with G&E TV. Man, I love doing my job because it's not a job, it's a privilege, by which I mean that I am privileged to meet face to face to all kinds of people, including huge celebrities. So today with me is one of them, Mr. Peter Cater. Peter Cater has just won the Grammy Award. What a big award that the rest of the folks of the whole entire world are looking at that way. Anyway, so he's with me now. And ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for my distinguished guest, Mr. Peter Cater, award-winning for Grammy Award, and many others awarded together. So Peter, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack. Thanks for having me.
All right, good. And next to him is my good friend, Ling So. She's a promoter in this show. However, she stands for everything. She's behind of all big projects. We have a great lady here who moves the spin the wheel around, right?
Thank you, Jack.
So to Ling So, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
By the way, I have make my own declaration that I have no background on music. I know nothing about music. However, I'm a crazy fan of music. I love music. Every time I'm depressed, I get something that will cheer me up always, right? So to bring my friend, Mr. Peter Cater, lots of you already know him. I believe by the award winning, he is already known all across the country. Yet to those of you who just turned on the program, though, you might not, right? So how about if we started with a self-introduction, or you want to do it as a promoter? Please, you want to do it. Lin So, please.
Peter just won this year the 60th Grammy New Age album, the Grammy Award. That's very
I see.
amazing.
I see.
And he's actually 13 times nominated Grammy musician.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm really impressed because I did my homework. I'm a homework guy. Every time I see a friend new, I always go in depth to find out this person, anything on everything about this person. I know that he has been nominated for 13 times already. And on top of that, he has won lots of other awards, big or small or medium size, each of them that I never won. I never got one myself, all right? And also he is a prolific composer of 7 critically acclaimed recordings, 70, and 11 of the off-Broadway dramatic plays. And also, you have composed for several, quite a few, more than 100 television and film musics. So it looks to me we're talking about a music giant who gets her hands on almost everything, as long as the audio world is concerned. Am I right by giving that definition?
Well, yeah, you're correct, but I also want to back up and say that you and I have a lot in common in that I love my job.
All right, good.
And it's an honor and a privilege to do what I do.
Yeah, you're right.
And to have my music take me around the world and meet people like you, and meet all kinds of folks, and it's a beautiful
For that,
experience.
we deserve a handshake. Because exactly, Len, you know what? They say the best thing in this world, on this global earth, is not how much you're making, it's how much you enjoy what you do. Or they say, in a more precise way, how much you enjoy the thing that you must do. Right? You see, give an example, the music conductors, right? Ba 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 bom, ba 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 bom, till the very end, when he bows, you could see sometimes drops,
Sweat. Yeah.
plank, right? Like that kind of thing. You ask me, are you tired? No, he's not. He doesn't even feel tired, right? That's the enjoyment that takes him. I like the fact that my friend Peter, Kate, and great pianist, well, has the same, I call it common ground, like I do. I enjoy doing my shows. I do homework when I do at midnight, deep into midnight. I still enjoyed it. Okay, because, getting into people is really something, right?
Okay, yeah.
Speaking of getting into people, though, young, when you started to work for music, or you find yourself kind of born with music talent?
I guess that I was born with music talent, but when I first started playing the piano, it wasn't so obvious. So I started playing when I was 6. And my mother was very animate about me taking classical lessons. And I didn't really want to. But she persisted and insisted. And so the first, I'm guessing, 6, 7 years of my lessons were all classical. And I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't really enjoy music till I started learning how to improvise and write my own music and play the music that I found enjoyable as a teenager. But like also what you were saying, I enjoy what I do now more than ever, even after like decades of playing music. It's the most interesting, the most enjoyable, and the most curious right now than it ever was.
All right, okay. And that exactly find another common ground between you and me. I'm not saying that I'm tying myself to your big name. I'm a little potato down here and you're there.
I'm a bigger potato.
I'm looking at you
both
this way, though.
potatoes.
By looking at you this way, though, I still see, probably I have something common with this guy, right? Something
both potatoes.
kind of like that, obviously. And you're talking about music. I last time had a conversation with my friend doing Chinese music. Music, he says, according to him, music is the way of expression, right? So when the word expression takes in your story, though, at that time when you were forced by your mom to learn to practice those classical pieces, you did not feel that they were enough to express yourself. Was that it?
Exactly, yeah. I didn't feel like I was expressing myself at all.
Yeah, that was what happened. Okay, Ling, to my experiences, at the point when you are not satisfied with what you face, which fails to express yourself, something is given birth to. Exactly, right?
Right.
Very good. Now, my dear friends, my lovely audience, today, one of the very precious moments that I get this opportunity to sit face to face to a Grammy Award winner, Mr. Peter Cater. Mr. Peter Cater started learning piano when he was 6, and it was not until 10-something did he realize that he had another talent of composing himself. So stay with us. We'll be right back, please. Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences, my lovely fellow Americans. This is a land of the free and home of the brave. And to prove it, everybody, if you have a dream of your own, though, if you work hard enough, and the dream will be yours, the realization of the dream will be yours. So here's a good example. I have somebody sitting face to face with me now. Now he's one of the top celebrity of Hollywood music. His name is Mr. Peter Cater, and he has just won the Grammy, this year's Grammy, for piano and piano composing. So once again, welcome to the show, my dear friend.
Thank you, James.
Very good. And I'm so happy that your arrival here brings me some music to my already dull afternoon. Okay. Now, music is always inspiring. Right? People need music, but music is also word by the root definition, expression, to express your people, your own mind. So that is the key in it. By that, I mean my good friend, Mr. Peter Cater, has grasped this starting early age and started at age about 10 or something, started creating his own. Now, putting all my homework together, I have found out that you have won numerous awards, right? Big or small. So Grammy, of course, is the biggest. If Grammy is the moon, you got the moon already, but there are many stars you won already. So starting when and where, how old were you when you first got your first award?
I released my first album when I was 24 years old, and
You're 25 now?
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
no. To be honest, I'm almost 30.
Okay, almost very good. All right, good.
I think I received my first award a couple years later. You know, but I was still very young. You know.
Question. Is that the momentum of winning an award that moves you on, or the ambition of you to get to the supreme moves on, regardless how many awards you get? I do get, I do not get.
If you mean by the supreme, if you mean by
The very top. The one you are, the one you just won. That's the supreme.
well,
Anything higher than that, you can tell me.
self-satisfaction.
No, well, yes, satisfaction, right?
Yeah.
So it is a self-satisfaction, call it self-motivation. In my term, I call it ambition. Right?
I think you have to have a degree of ambition, you know, to be successful
Exactly,
at
right.
anything.
And I'm very sorry, I have to make it up front of why I'm asking the question I ask. Because this this show is viewed by lots of parents, teachers, and their children. Some of the children, quite a few of them, do like my show because I really try on their behalf to dig out what is that there to keep them move on. So in your case, you're talking about satisfaction, right? And ambition, sort of ambition, right?
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Okay, so everything. Now to my audiences, I mean my audiences as parents, your father or mother of some kids learning pianos or learning anything. So keep those words in mind that sometimes satisfaction is only one, and then ambition, the unrelenting efforts, right? It works, right? So did you when you started in the early days, did you practice piano more, or did you practice composing more?
Well, when I turned 18 years old, I went into a period of only improvising for about 6 years.
Okay.
So I would just sit down at the piano and I would just make up music all night long, 4 hours a night, 5-6 nights a week, just
Wow.
exploring the instrument, exploring myself.
Oh my God.
And I never wrote anything down at that point. I mean, I had written things down before and I knew how to do it, but I was all about what is there if I could become totally present in the moment and just express what's happening now. And that was a passion of mine for many years, and still in a lot of my concerts I improvise.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I have
yeah.
also written almost 1,000 pieces at this point too. So
Oh, that's why people, I mean, in the industry, they call you prolific.
yeah.
So otherwise, you wouldn't give that title, right? Being a prolific, of course, you have to satisfy audiences of all groups, right? And by looking at your albums, your musics, and by hearing some of yours, I didn't have time to do the whole thing though.
It'll take you a
I
while.
found out that you have a way, you have a kind of the magic that you can satisfy almost every group. How did you manage to do that?
Because I'm deeply looking to satisfy myself.
Self-centered?
Well, it's a
I
self,
joke,
it's
I
a,
joke,
it's
yeah.
a self-exploration. You know, it's like when I sit down to play the piano, I ask myself, what do I really feel like hearing right now? What do I really want to play? And then I get an idea and I go with it. I realized a long time ago that if I'm not making myself happy, if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, if I'm not feeling passionate about what I'm doing, either is anyone else.
Exactly.
I don't really try to
exactly,
please other
exactly,
people.
Exactly. And by that, sir, I really have to agree with you. I say I couldn't agree with you more, because nowadays, if you look at the surrounding environment with the music, there are very, very few pieces you can call music, right? You can call them a combination. I hate to give an examples of exact what I do mean about that. I mean a collection of noises or anything, right? Give it a certain beat. With a rhythm, you can do it. That's music, right? So anyway, so that's an insult to the word music to me, right? So, and it is the impression. I still remember when I was young, my mom tried to send me to a violin class. And the teacher told my father, says, okay, you work hard, your money works hard, your son works very hard, but I still ask you to back off. So look at the fingers at your sons. Would that play a violin? I got the drumstick fingers, like drumsticks, right? So I back off. My father insists, I said, no. He says, no, I'm not training him to be a violinist, just to be somebody who knows little something about music. That's it. So knowing the music is the core of the issue, right? So you compose from the mind of knowing the music as a starting point. So your music gets awarded, and not my music, like that kind of. Does that make sense to you?
Sure.
Does it make sense to you? What kind of music do you like?
Oh, I like many different kinds of music, but Peter is my favorite one kind of music. That's
No.
why
Also mine. Also mine. Yeah.
I know a lot of millions of people world. They love people, and people bring love and peace, and also the music touch you. That is a music you were really love.
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
So Peter is kind the musician. He's play the music from the heart and really touch people when you heard his music.
Yeah, and you were native born
I was born in Germany.
in Germany.
Yeah.
That's the.
In Munich.
I ask questions based upon my homework, right? So, how much do you think your hometown has influenced you by percentage of your success?
I'm not really sure, but I do know that there are some amazingly talented musicians that have come out of Germany, over the last
Yeah, of
couple
course.
of
Yeah, of
200
course.
years.
Yeah.
I think my music is a combination of all my experiences. And thank God I had the experience in Germany because it was very magical. And then I moved to New Jersey at the age of 4 with my parents into lower middle class Italian neighborhoods, where there was just a lot of attitude and, things weren't always that safe and it was kind of rough. And so I had a lot going on, a lot of polarities, and I think my music is an expression of all those things. I've had so many life experiences. I mean, really, I've done quite a bit, not just in my career, but in traveling and meeting people.
Sure. By looking at your age, I can probably antedate to the years when Germans used to have some kind of confusion. Were they winners? Were they losers? Right after the World War II.
My parents went through
that. Yeah, right? And then people will think, and of course kids get influenced, right, in between losers and winners. Now, we say as a nation, as the one of the Anglo-Saxons, family, the language group, I believe they are successful. They have given birth to lots of musicians who are also bothered by the time, right? So for that, of course, as you musicians probably share the same point of view, because I'm a major in literature, and I see exactly how people's mind, the more twisted, the more complicated artwork they will produce, right? For that, I give that as a plus to your success. Do you think that works?
I agree. Some degree of struggle and strife and conflict and the need to really figure yourself out does help to create really meaningful artwork, whether it's as a musician or a writer or a painter.
All right, that's very good. A very good take. I know that when you talk, you would rather play.
Yes.
You let your music do the talking.
Yeah.
That's why I try to to motivate you into talking. Obviously, I'm not successful. So I'll still do the same way. Anytime you say, okay, I'm warming up already, so you start your way, all right? So I like that. You know, musicians, they don't talk, blah, 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 blah. They are not on the lips. They're on the fingers, they are here, right? So they're with the brain. They talk with their brain, they talk with their keys, with their notes. So my dear friends, today with me is a great pianist and great composer who has just won the Grammy Award this year, Mr. Peter Cater. And it's my privilege to face-to-face sit here, conduct a interview. So we'll take a very short moment now. When we come back, I'll go a little deeper into the still deep subject. So stay with us, please. Hello, lovely friends, my dear friends, lovely audiences, welcome back to the show. Today, once again, I'm talking about some subject that I know nothing about. However, I love so dearly. I wish I was born one. But fact is that I'm here trying my best to bring my audiences to a mind of a great musician. As a pianist, he started at the age of 6. As a composer, he started at the age of 10. Now he's 30, almost 30. And all right, so we can see it takes only a few years, all right, to work out towards a Grammy. Grammy, big name, bigger, no name in the music world bigger than Grammy. I'm sitting right in front of one who has just won the award. So once again, let's put our hands together for Peter, please.
Thank you, Jim.
And also his promoter, my dear friend, Lang Su, to you I owe you a great thanks because it is you who brought Peter here, right? So, and my respect and my regard. Thank you very much for doing that. Yes, purpose doing this show is not only for the promotion of Peter, because Peter has enough exposure already. I'm using him as an example to my audience, especially who are parents of the kids who are learning music, working on music, what to do the right thing, not the wrong thing whatsoever, right? Okay, now, your advices to my audiences who happen to be in the case I described, what do you recommend them to do, please, as parents?
As parents, yeah. Mm-hmm. I recommend that they allow their children to find where their passion is, to not think that they can define where the child is going to have the most joy in what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Because enjoying it is a big thing. Like some child might rather improvise, some child might rather play classical music, some child might rather just play popular music. I mean, when I started to feel like I was really doing my path and enjoying it, was when I learned how to write my own music and improvise. Mm-hmm. But some people want to play classical music. I mean, it's their it's their choice. But I think children have their own instincts of what they want to do, and I think children can also be lazy, and you have to have a certain degree of you're going to practice for X amount of time, every day, because otherwise they're not going to get the chops down. I have to do that with my son, who's 13, and he wants, he plays guitar, and he wants to play piano. I said, you can play whatever you want. You need to practice at least an hour a day per instrument, 5 days a week.
I see.
And
I see.
It's kind of what my parents did.
Well, that's well, Lynn knows better because in China I have lots of friends who are at this moment doing the thing you described. Well, putting their kids in music school, all kinds of music school. And by the way, this show is watched in China by lots of audiences there. So to them, your advice might value a lot because you stand for an award winner for Grammy, something like that, right? So now, to the kids, right? I see, in your case, I see a combination of what your mother forced you to do and you're willing to do, right? The two, right? So to the kids, though, I see lots of stories, and I believe Ling knows that. Back in Xi'an, there are lots of stories, and there are kids being kind of forced to sit on a bench for 6 hours or 4 hours, whatever a day, do this, do that, and mother doing this kind of score, turning, flipping like that. So on and on, and the kids were crying, and they somehow punished or physically punished for learning music. Is that way to do?
I don't believe so.
You don't believe so?
No, it's too much, I think.
I don't think that's make kids, hate music. They
Yeah.
quit it. And
No, it
I
doesn't work
heard
that
a
way,
lot,
right?
Yeah. I think you need to make them enjoy the music and give them.
So start with, in a way, to make themselves feel interested in what you're doing, what they're doing, right?
Yeah, you can. Balance is good.
Balance
Have
is
them
good.
practice, but don't kill them in the process.
Balance is the key word.
Yeah.
Okay, and the word balance is out of my good friend, great musician, Peter Kate. Well, that probably will give us the definition. Okay, second area I want to ask you is that I'm also dealing with lots of friends here locally, and that locally includes friends who were born here, practice American music, such as Omar, my friend Omar. I believe that you know him. He was the winner of the
Omar.
previous Grammy,
Yeah, I know
Omar.
Omar,
And such as friends from originally from China, such as Mr. Yang, and many others. Okay, now I see a combination of the two going towards each other altogether. Okay, now there are many good examples showing the cases that Western music absorbing some of the Eastern, and on this side too, vice versa. How do you see that as a trend, please, sir?
Honestly, I don't really know if I see it as a trend because honestly, I'm so focused on what I'm doing that I'm not paying a whole lot of attention to what other people are doing.
Uh-huh.
I'm always working. I don't really listen to music on the radio that much anymore. I'm very much about my own personal exploration. So I don't know how it's coming together. I imagine it's a small world, so it's got to be coming together, right?
That is understood. In my writing, I experience what you call a time period, a period of expression, because you are almost exploding to a moment that you want to express way out, right? And after that period, you will find yourself empty a little bit. You're looking around what you can absorb. So probably we're talking about this little difference when people started looking around to look for what can be absorbed. That could be the moment, though. Anyway, like my show from East West, right? And it was a show 5 or 6 years in history, right? So the moment I started, I thought, oh, damn, my friend Dan knows that. So I was thinking about how we combine the East and West together. Let the East concept go into the West and vice versa. By that, my friends in lots of areas have tried. They tried even by combining the curriculums, school curriculums. And the next example is that they are combining Eastern and Western music to see if there is anything in common. There are lots of beautiful pieces in Chinese music that we will probably later on, when you are not that busy, I can send you some of the music discs. So there's the Dural Lake Staring at the Moon. Check the title. The title is beautiful, right?
Very
The
beautiful.
Dural Lakes Staring at the Lonely Moon, something like that. And the Raindrops on Palms, boom, pa, 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 boom, like that kind of thing.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah, sure. All right, good. And the flute and the drums in the setting sun of the fisherman, bum, 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 like that kind of thing, right? So when the American audience got a chance through your work, a taste of the East Side, though, and vice versa, I believe that our musicians are kind of like on the next elevation. Very good. All right, good. My dear friends, today's show is like a classroom. I feel that I go back to school again, learning a lot from my friend Peter Kate. Peter Cater is a Grammy Award winner, and his achievement is the supreme, in my word, in the musical area, by instrumental music and by composing of the music, and also television, film music, and you name it, all kinds of field where music applies. So a huge success, a wonderful monument. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you very much. Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West Show with GNE TV. Today is one of the very, very precious chance that I got a moment to sit face to face with a great musician, a Grammy Award winner, Mr. Peter Cater. And once again, I would like to express my warm welcome to him. Right? So, and knowing this much about you yourself, your story as a child, and all the way, your achievement, so on and so forth. And now I'm thinking about what makes you so kind of like energetic of what you're doing. In other words, in musician, we're talking about emotion, the passion. What makes your passion your emotion, please? You do it.
I think my passion, honestly, is about being in the moment and expressing what's true at that moment. I've never been very goal-oriented. You know, honestly, all the awards that I've won are great, and it's not a destination. You know what I mean? It's like my favorite artist, Sting, says that music is its own reward. You know, the reward is in the being in the presence of music coming through. You know. It's not that I'm not trying to sell records, I'm not trying to win awards, I'm not trying to impress anyone, I'm not trying to win anyone over. I'm just being responsible to what is going on inside me that wants to come out and be expressed. Mm-hmm. You know, and I do that by listening. A lot of people think that music is all about being creative and doing something, when actually I think art comes to you. It's an act of receiving it and expressing it. So I think I have a little bit of a different perspective on what really makes creativity happen and why it's satisfying. Because the satisfaction is in letting it come through and come out. You know what I mean? Because I've won enough awards to realize like, oh, well that's cool, but it doesn't really change my life. It doesn't really change who I am. It doesn't change the quality of my music. It doesn't change the depth of my relationships. You know? So they're great to have, you know, but I think it's the intimacy with ourselves and each other that really makes art deep and profound and rewarding and rich.
All right, very good. My dear friend, I wish that you hear this statement word by word. And if you like, I can rerun it. That's a very profound. It's not a philosophy. It's a music lesson. It's a music rules. It's why we call music music. He mentioned, my friend Peter mentioned that I'm not working for an award winning. Winning a reward is okay. Makes it cool. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, award, cool. But that's not I set it as a target for. Which means that when I got this one, I look at the award B, award C, award D, on and on. It doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. And I continue going my way to continue express myself, to let my audiences feel the way I feel, to echo with the audiences, or let my audience echo with me through music. So that is exactly what you're looking for, and what you're working at. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm looking to find that place in myself that exists in you, and everybody else. So when I find that place in myself that resonates with the whole universe, then it's going to resonate inside you, and we're going to have that in common. You know what I mean? It's a way of finding each other.
Exactly. Yeah. So you agree with the statement?
Yeah.
Huh? That's great, right? That's great. That's very great. I can exactly feel what you're talking about. I cannot call myself a poet. I write a lot of poems, right? Those kind of like off class, second class, third class, whatever poems. The most enjoyable moment is that I see my audience in tears. I get hugged without a word.
There you go.
That is the most recognition moment. I feel that I'm paid off.
That's the best award.
Something like that. Or some say, hey, good, you're a good writer, something like that. I say, okay, thank you, like that. I don't get touched. I get touched when those eyes filled with tears, they come over, hug me for a long moment like that. That is the biggest award.
Absolutely.
Am I right?
I totally agree, 100%.
So that's our third common ground. Very good. Yes, my dear audience, if you have anything about music, about learning music, if you're a kid, about forcing your kids to learn music, please write to me. Since I have the connection with a great musician, you can write to me, say, tellmydj@gmail.com. I will pass that to my friend Peter K. Right? He will, if he will not, Lynn will help getting back to them to get questions answered. So back to Lynn, I understand that we are doing something on the West Coast because we're going to make it fair between East Coast and West Coast, right? Now that we have such a great musician here, what do we do on the West Coast to make things even?
So coming up, we have two big concerts, Peter Cater. One's in the Grammy Museum.
Ah, yeah.
I don't know, in the downtown LA Life.
I see, LA Life,
The
yeah.
Grammy Museum. So I believe that's a place, a great place to have a concert.
Very
and
intimate.
the
Okay.
music lover, they will
I see.
love that place. And we have 1 hour private tour. And then we have Peter play there.
You will actually play at the concert, right?
Yeah, that's on
Okay.
March 30th.
And will you be available signing off some albums?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a sweet
Yeah,
dream.
the one you gave me previously was the poster for the
Yes.
concert, right?
Yes.
So the concert you will see on the big screen right away while listening to music. And now next we'll let you to listen to the music, and what you see on the screen will be the exact poster of the coming concert, all right? And secondly, I would like to leave a little moment for my friend to listen to his masterpieces. So there goes, my dear friend. Please be ready. 3, 2, 1. Peter Cater.